He never saw what he didn't know that.
Well, I didn't see it hit me, but I knew it happened because it hurt.
Well, I thought it had poison ivy. And so I never just treated it like poison ivy, it just kept growing and growing. It was like a fast, and back to my Finally, I went to the doctor again. And so
all the
I was
way.
showing whatever.
Now you got my curiosity.
Went down, got 3 holes. Yeah, obviously, it was fire, and he said it was around the clothes. Rights your skin out.
It's not needed to go to August. Yeah, I didn't get down here in time to turn it on early.
We're up and running.
Busy this morning. We're live, so we're on Facebook.
All right.
Hopefully they can hear us. Yeah, that's fine.
You can say that year to date, we do have positive cash flow. Treasurer's report. But it looks bad.
Well, I realized that. I know you, I think you told me there was three payroll instead of 2.
That's this one, for year to date, we're still positive cash flow.
Oh, no.
All right. We're ready? 9 o'clock? All right, it's now 9 a.m. and I will call the meeting of the Fort Clark Springs Association to order. We have a quorum. We have 4 directors present in the room, and we have Mr. Robert Mummy joining us on the screen behind us. Thank you for making time to be here. I know that you've got quite a bit going on with your situation, so thank you.
Well, thank you for zooming me in.
Wonderful world of technology, huh?
Yes, sir.
Trying to make it so that we can only see him and y'all don't have to stare at me twice.
If it wasn't for the pandemic, we wouldn't have all this technology.
There we go. Now we got you full screen, so everyone can see you, your ominous figure behind us. So. Do we still have you on the audio?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure. All right, so we'll move on to our moment of silence. And pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes as presented in your board packets from the board meeting on July 17th?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve minutes of the last board meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. All right, we will move on to the secretary's report. But Robert, I don't believe you have the correspondence, or do you?
You should.
You do?
You
Okay.
should.
Well, by all means.
I have one piece of correspondence from August 3rd, 2021. It says, Dear Fort Clark Springs Association, on behalf of all of us at Brackettville Housing Authority, I would like to thank you for your support of the National Night Out 2021. Your generosity has helped us make this event a success for our community. Your participation resulted in the smiles on many faces and high spirits of so many in our community. We love creating memories for our town that they will never forget. We hope that you will join us next year and participate in another successful National Night Out. Stay tuned for 2022. Sincerely, Shauna Fogg, Office Manager. I hope I said the last name right.
All right, thank you, Robert. We'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Just as a quick note, I have been told that we have a positive cash flow for the year so far this year. Now the bad news, no. The motel revenue for July had 485 guests for revenue of $29,902. The member service board report, we had transfer fees of $3,450. Resale certificate fees, $75, for a total of $3,525. Collection board report. For the month of July, we collected $16,790. June of this year, we collected $15,501. In July of 1920, a year ago, was $13,820. So our delinquent notices, our collection of about 69%, and FRM's about 73%. The net income before bad debts, our net income was minus $79,398.34. Taking into consideration depreciation and bad debts, the net income was minus $41,581.82. The October through June net income loss was $341,606.73. Taking into consideration the bad debt expenses and depreciation, our net income was $7,971.27. That was a positive number. The restricted fund has the use of $232,602.77, and that includes money that are on hold for letters of credit guarantee and preservation. The profit and loss for July, we had a gross profit of $189,231.17. Our total expenses were $268,629.86. $1,000,000.51 for a net income loss of $79,398.34. The profit and loss October of 2020 through July, the gross profit was $1,888,040.35. Our total expenses were $2,331,864.90 for a loss of $343,824.55. But if I am correct, that is basically a paper loss, not necessarily cash loss. The balance sheet for July, our bank accounts show $403,679.02. Our assets were $375,672.34. Our fixed asset total is $1,179,853.78. Our total accounts payable were $34,960.92. Our current liabilities are $190,400.44 for total liabilities of $389,485.05. But our total equity and total liabilities comes out to $1,179,853.78. The restricted fund profit and loss for July, income was $5,927.60. Total expenses were $1,956.16 for a net income of $3,971.44. The restricted fund profit and loss October through July, the gross profit was $52,511.20. Total expenses, $21,522.74 for a net income of $30,988.46. Los Morris profit and loss for July. The profit was $5,492.51. Total expenses were $7,035.47 for a loss of $1,542.96. Los Morris profit and loss October through July. Our gross profit was $17,550.28. Total expenses, $21,396.42 for a net income loss of $3,846.14. Our bank balances as of 8/27, Texas Community Bank checking $46,163.37, credit card $178,225.83, money market of $9,294.99. Bank and Trust, Los Morris, $645.58. The restricted fund, $398,612.61. General, $160,539.45. Preservation, $474.90, for a grand total of $793,956.73. One just side note, we had, because of 3 payrolls this month, the income loss was a little bit higher than normal. That's my report.
Okay, so just for a couple of clarifying statements, so July 2021, we had 3 payrolls.
Yes,
Okay, and each one of those payrolls runs.
we do a cash accounting, so it shows up in each month instead of spreading it out. So
Right.
there are going to be 2 months every year. I did not budget for it that way. I did a yearly budget and spread it out, so it's evening out that way, as far as the budget's concerned.
Right. Wait, and so that that amount of each payroll is approximately
45,000?
$45,000. Okay, so all in all, if you take and look at your net income before depreciation, if you're negative 41,000, 45 of that is your additional
Right.
payroll that we will not see then in the following months.
The rest of this year.
Right.
Next year, and we will budget accordingly for that next year to make sure it shows up that way.
And then the difference, so there's a document labeled Fort Clark Springs Association net income before estimated bad debt depreciation as of July 31st, 2021. There is a discrepancy between the front page of Fort Clark Springs Association profit and loss year to date, but I'm assuming that that discrepancy is that the numbers listed on this sheet are from October 2020 to June 2021, not encompassing July, and the number on the front document is encompassing July.
Correct. I believe that's right.
Okay. So there's about a $1,500 difference there. So just as everyone's looking through these documents, just note that on the document listed Fort Clark Springs Association net income before established bad debts and depreciation, that the metric or the time frame for that is October 2020 through June 2021, and the other document is July through July 2020. So you have an additional month there. Thank you, Bill. All right, we'll move on to the executive officer report.
I'll go ahead and start with the accounting part because that seems to be one of our biggest issues. We have now ceased using Usman & Company and Del Rio as our accounting and bookkeeping service, or Randy. We're now working with Melinda Korzinski from Coleman Horton & Company, LLP, and Uvalde. I've had discussions with them for probably the last 2 months. They're experts with QuickBooks Online, which we converted to, and both Cindy and I have a very, very good feeling about working with them about some of our questions as far as things that you hear is how it's presented and exactly where our assets are, getting us a little bit better handle on exactly our payables, what we know we don't owe anything, but still it's not showing that in a lot of areas. So there are things that have been done for many years that we need to go back in and correct to make sure we have an adequate and accurate balance sheet. Right now, our basically accounting and bookkeeping is accurate as far as the numbers you're seeing, as far as expenses and income. What's not as far as our assets, depreciation, and exactly what we have. So that's what we're working on. Working on the budget right now, a little bit more informed than I was a year ago when I started the budget, which has been very accurate as far as expenses. Income is a little inaccurate. I think we have enough history now. We know where some money was coming from that we didn't have. We have a lot of pipeliners. We've lost that. But, you know, we've we've solved a lot of questions that we had last year that we weren't aware of. Our expenses are pretty consistent. Our payroll's been very consistent with what we expected. It's a matter of just finding things that we weren't aware that were there. So we're going from a much better place starting this budget. Going over, our pool has been a very good success this last summer. We have one more week left. The duck inn has not shown a big profit, but the whole field down there, I think, is a very positive for the fort, and it's something to build on for the future. Sherry and her staff have been doing really, really good job, and I think it's been a big improvement. I guess the biggest improvement that you can see right now is the Barracks Inn. We now have 24 rooms remodeled. One has been converted for concessions. And amazingly enough, the ice machine that never worked outside is actually working on the inside. So, when you have an ice machine sitting out there in 100-degree heat, it just could not keep up with heat. So we moved it into that concession room, and we fixed it, and that's working. So that saved us a little bit of it. We have 13 rooms still remaining. We have not started remodeling them because if you've looked at our clientele that's sitting outside now, we have a contract with the DPS because of the illegal problem that we have between 12 and 20 rooms occupied, probably maybe 3 months to 6 months. It really depends. So that is a huge plus for us right now. So that's going to allow us to go ahead and have a cash flow positive effect as far as in the Barracks Inn. Since I knew they were coming, we also outfitted all the rooms that have not been remodeled with the new dressers, the flat screen TVs, the microwaves and refrigerators, just for all of our other guests. We cannot take those rooms out of service while we have this many rooms contracted out, because we're not going to lose that revenue. So we've had a real good, it's a good start to this month, and it looks like it should carry over for possibly up to 6 months, maybe longer. The RV park, the internet is going in. It was started on Thursday, should be finished by the end of this month. David and staff have almost finished painting and installing numbers on all the electrical units, and it looks much sharper out there. They've cleaned it up quite a bit. We now have the state biologist, and if you read the next dispatch, you'll find out a little bit more about her, but we've given her office space in the adult center because she does so much work for us here, and that's going to be a big plus for us, just having somebody like that here. The hunt, we've definitely raised our rates for the hunt. There will be no hunting north of Scales Road this year, so there will be an area that is free to hike in that is compared to last year. But even with that, even with going on with our rates, as of the end of August, or as of right now today, we brought in $33,050. As compared to last year for the months of August and September, we had only brought in $12,700. We have lost a lot of our longtime hunters, but if you really look at what they were paying and how long they were staying here, they sort of took advantage of the fort, and that's stopped. So I think we should have a very good hunt here this year. Las Morris is not doing where we really would like it to, but it's hanging in there, especially for a slow time of the year. Our maintenance crew, if you've noticed, our landscape crew is now back to full staff, and they've been maintaining pretty much everywhere a little bit better than what we expected. Golf is now online with Golf Now. That came on about 2 weeks ago. Having a few little issues with it, but it has opened up a little bit more marketing for us online. This week, we will be installing Protel that is our property management system, and that will be going into the RV park, the motel, as well as the campground. This will get us online reservations and as well as give us an up-to-date property management system. Concierge Plus, which works with the HOA, the training will begin on Thursday. The radios with NetPro, we're still looking to locate the inventory. Room supplies, we're still short 6 refrigerators because we cannot locate them. I've got 3 that are coming into Home Depot this week. They will only allow us to order 3 at a time per store. So I'll order 2 more this week in Austin and get the last 6. Budgets for 21 and 22 are starting. And Gabby had a daughter this week. So she is working from home, even I think 2 days after she had the baby. But congratulations to her. That's it.
I have a question.
Sure.
When we budgeted for the rooms to be remodeled several months ago, and now there's gonna be a temporary delay because of the money coming with the DPS and everything else, is the contractor gonna be charging us more money later on, or we're still
set.
fixed at that amount?
We're fixed.
Good.
And of the 70,000 roughly that we budgeted, I think we used about 29,000. So we've, even though the prices on some things went up, we saved in some other areas that I didn't expect. So, but we have curtains purchased and the blinds are in. So pretty much the only thing is going in and physically remodeling the room and getting the floors fixed. So of those 13 rooms, 4 of them still have the vinyl on top of the carpet, and the other 9 still have carpet. Carpet is where the major labor problem is, because it is glued down so hard, and it's been hard to get that off.
Next question, regarding the concession, is that the bottom room all the way to the right? Is that where the?
19.
That's where the ice machine and there's a Coke machine, or?
We're trying to get the Coke machine in there. We have finally found a washer and dryer. Should be delivered in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have coin-operated laundry in there also.
Is the Coke machine gonna be a vendor, or we're gonna buy the machine?
No, it's the same one that's under the stairs now.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? And when will the hump begin?
October 1st, and I think that's, is that right?
February? Are you gonna be putting up signs with regard to the hunt, as far as where people can, so they know where they can walk and where they can't?
Because of our illegal issue this year, we're actually having signs made on a hard stock, waterproof, that will be both in English and Spanish on the exterior of our property, alerting everybody that a hunt is in process. Because we understand there's going to be probably a lot of sightings. And the one thing we really don't want is having the sheriff or border patrol coming in and scaring all the deer away in the middle of our hunt. So, as well as we really don't want to get anybody shot, but otherwise, yes, we've already purchased that, it's on its way.
So is that sheriff and border patrol and the DPS agents that are here, they're aware that, I mean, obviously they're aware that we hunt
Yes.
that area, okay. And we're coordinating with them to understand that we hunt the area.
Not any more than normal. I mean, we let them know there's a hunt here.
Okay. They're professionals.
Well, everyone that comes in, these guys are only here for 2 weeks at a time.
Okay.
You know, the guys, some of them here are from Lubbock. They're here for 2 weeks, then they go. And they're actually staying here on shifts. So 2 guys will rent a room, but they'll do one of them during 12 hours and then switch out, the other one will do 12 back and back at night or whatever. So, you know, we're working with them on all that. I have alerted them that if they see people running that stop sign outside the fort, go ahead and give them a ticket.
They did get one this morning.
And I said,
Really?
feel free to drive anywhere in the fort, make your presence known.
So they can do tickets now?
Oh, they can do tickets anywhere that we have on Fort, anything that's posted as far as a speeding ticket. Fort Clark Road, scales, any of that.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Peterson? Thank you for your report. We'll now move on to the committee reports. I do not see one from the airport committee. Just want to reiterate that committee reports are strongly encouraged, and this is the only form of communication that we have on a regular basis. So it'd be much appreciated if these reports are turned in prior to the meeting to the office so that we can read them into the record as we go. Architectural?
We have something here.
There's no formal.
So no formal report from architectural. Golf?
One from golf here in the packet.
Yes. You want to go ahead? Robert?
Yes, I'll go ahead and read it. From the golf committee, Arcadian Bash Golf Course fundraiser raised $4,539.61. Everyone had a great time. The first annual couples tournament was held August 14th. We had a total of 10 couples. Once again, Hillcrest has canceled their tournament. No date has been set up to reschedule. However, there will still be a tournament today. I'm assuming that was for actually the 21st, with lots of interest. So load up your golf bags and come play. The end of the month tournament is scheduled for August 28th. That's already happened. Following that, there will be the Kinney County Church Alliance tournament on September 4th with a $10 entry fee. Come support your community. On September 25th and 26th is the Happy Cervantes tournament. There will be a practice round on Friday the 24th. Put together your 4-man teams and come out for lots of fun. The golf committee has reinvested in several projects for the golf course. $1,010.64 for the hole signs on the tee boxes. $1,065.12 for the first load of silica sand, and $953 for a second load used to sand the greens which have been aerated. A $1,000 scholarship was awarded to Ellie Lewis. We have been blessed to have the rain, but the humidity and the temperatures are rising. Stay safe and come out and play with us. Respectfully submitted, Katie Brown.
Thank you. Preservation report, it's also in the packet, or it's behind the recycling.
Okay, there we go. From the Preservation Committee, the committee continues its summer solstice. No meetings and minimal, if any, costly restoration repairs projects in an effort to accrue sufficient funds to at least begin exterior restorations of the hospital in September. Hopefully, we will have enough funds to at least paint the center 2-story section in the correct color, gray. And we'll go from there and see what funds allow. We will certainly assess any other appropriate items that arise, but I hope to maintain our major focus and effort on the hospital. Respectfully submitted, Phil Coburn, President, HDRC.
The recycling committee?
Recycling, we received $2,155 for the cardboard that we shipped in June. Yay! August 12th, we sent 40 boxes and 4 bales of plastic. Meanwhile, the volunteers are still sweating, working in recycling. Helena, are we supposed to get them a van or something?
Do we have one that we can?
They're ordering.
Yes, it's been ordered.
Okay.
Okay, I just saw that and I was like, is that a hint?
All right, and then the Lost Moors Springs Restoration Committee?
The Lost Moors Restoration Committee has nothing new to report this month. Chris Hale.
committee is still on hold pending an item that you will see later. But this, that whole project is intertwined with unraveling what we have as a set of documents, which we'll get to here in a moment. All right, so the tabled items, rules and regulations, also tied up in the same process with the ability to change the rules and regulations as they sit. The wastewater treatment plant. So the last city council meeting, the city and the utility district decided to meet behind closed doors and discuss what they would like in the lease out of us. And we were not a part of that conversation. We have received their red lines to the document which they would like us to sign, but at this time we're still evaluating what it is that we think is necessary to lease the irrigation system at the golf course to the utility district and the city. Hopefully we can work together going forward rather than two of the three parties that are all kind of combined here and really rely on each other for support and the ability to actually function and exist. But we'll continue to press through that issue and hopefully come to a resolution before the end of the year. Any questions? Email votes. So we approved a dollar amount, or up to a dollar amount, in the last meeting to procure the radios. In the time where research was being done beyond, or what was requested to do, the radio bid actually increased by $1,000. That was taken to the board and an email vote was cast to approve the additional expense of $1,000. So I believe it was just south, or just above $8,000 was the total expense.
Correct.
But again, a very necessary piece of equipment that we'll need to secure the fort as we move forward. So that's definitely something that we need to do. First action item for today is the excused absence of Memo Guzman for the July 17th, 2020 meeting. So this was presented after the meeting, which is, it can either be done before or after, so we'll just simply take a vote here for that. So all in favor of excusing the absence? Aye. Motion passes. All right, so we have an action item here, and I'll step through the process just one more time for everyone's understanding. In 2016, the rules and regulations were made a dedicatory instrument by a board resolution which was filed at the county courthouse, which takes those documents into dedicatory status. Well, that puts it into a whole different realm of who and how and the process of changing anything in that document. Because it's a board resolution, a subsequent board can modify that resolution or rescind that resolution, which is what's on the action item for the new business here. If that document stays as a dedicatory instrument, we are required to have 66.7% of the vote of the lot owning members in order to change that document. We will never be able to change a period, comma, anything in that document if it remains a dedicatory instrument. So the item here would be to remove the rules and regulations from the 2016 board resolution as a dedicatory instrument. So I'll now open that up to discussion. For anyone here, some questions?
Question.
Yes,
Were those filed or they were not filed?
it was filed.
It was.
The recording.
Yes, it was recorded at the courthouse, yes.
Okay.
Explain to them that why we wouldn't get 67%.
Well, in order to, so the key part of that phrase is lot owning members, not the amount of people who return their ballots, but of the actual membership. So of the 1,800 memberships on file, you would have to have 66.7% affirmative to change anything. As history has shown, we received somewhere between 600 and 800, 900 votes back. So we're not even getting back enough if everyone voted in the same direction to change anything in these documents. So the state 209, the state law does not require that your rules and regulations be a dedicatory instrument. So it's in our best interest to have the flexibility to change with the times and with how technology, culture changes over time, to amend, update, and add to these documents, or that document specifically. So I'll open it up to the membership for questions or comments as well. Okay. Do we have a motion to remove the rules and regulations from the...
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Who seconded that?
Memo. Oh,
Bill.
oh, Bill, I'm sorry.
I yelled louder than
Yeah,
he
no,
did.
yeah. No problem.
So the motion passes to remove the rules and regulations from dedicatory status. So this brings us to a couple of items of housekeeping that we'll have to do. So we need to file this with the courthouse. Robert is not in town, otherwise I would, as a secretary, I would ask that you do that, but do we have someone that can take care of it?
Is it ready to go?
I'll produce the document for you to take.
When do you want it done?
Just sometime within the week.
I can't do it, I'm leaving at 2.
I can do it this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will get that document to be filed. Now, this opens up the rules and regulations for the barking dogs. So for the barking dogs piece of the rules and regulations, if we can have the wording submitted to Julie to go out in the dispatch prior to the next meeting, we have a short time between this meeting and the next meeting, so we can take a few weeks to allow the membership to digest and provide comment.
What about the rest of we've worked on that quite a bit.
If there are other changes that you want presented, then let's get individual dispatches ready for
Okay.
Julie that segment each piece, because in order to, it probably wouldn't be a good use of time to try to vote on an entire document at once, but each individual piece can be an action item. You already have one of the items on the agenda for the next meeting because it's a tabled item from old business, but any additional ones, if those can be sent out via dispatch, so that the membership will have time to comment on those. So those are the two items that arise from that action item. Okay, so the third action item is reinstating reveille and taps. Many people here have lived on military bases over time or been around military bases, and I think that people are very impressed with the amount of historic property here that's still in great shape, and it's a great way that we can showcase what this area and what the fort was used for over time. And from a nostalgic perspective, I think it would be really awesome if we added back. Now, not every day. I know everyone doesn't want to wake up to reveille and hear retreat. To me, it's soothing and allows me to understand where I am in the day. I live and die by the noon siren. But the other, what would be great is if we could sort of cap the week as if it were a day on a military installation. So at 7:30 on Monday morning, we would play reveille. At 5:30 on Friday, we would play retreat, followed by the national anthem. And then at 10 p.m. we would play taps, and that would signify kind of the quiet hours on the fort. So just to bring back some nostalgia, and I also think that that would be times that, you know, you have guests in, you know, it would be a little different feel, a little different experience that would add to what we have here at Fort Clark. So that was kind of the idea behind this action item. I don't know if there's any comments or thoughts on that.
Do we have a musician that will do that?
We have a recording, don't we?
I believe we would try, well, I think this goes to the operational side of it. Is this possible? I know that,
It's gonna be possible, I don't know exactly how.
Used to be a recording,
Yeah, there used to be a recording.
used to be a
The
recording.
recording's not the problem, the loudspeaker's gonna be the problem.
okay, so how does the siren work at this point?
In the sheriff's office, I believe.
Yeah, that's strictly through the county. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'm sure there is a way.
Okay, well, why don't we then table this, I mean, unless there's some comments around like, that we don't even want to even attempt to do this, and then before we, you know, add something to the operational list of duties, let's see if it's something that's possible.
Well, you know, I'm sure it's gonna be a computerized program that,
Yeah.
that it's just a matter of setting up the amp, what's gonna be needed for the fort and the loudspeaker that will broadcast it, where we're gonna broadcast it from. I would assume it's gonna have to be this building, because that's about the, I don't wanna put it out there on the middle of where the bandstand is, because I'm not sure that's a reliable place not to get vandalized. But from here upstairs, it's probably something we can do.
I think it was all set up at the old, where the big flag is?
But the bandstand, yeah.
No, the big,
Right here.
right here.
Big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
because
is
there's
a-
electricity there because of the lights for the
By
flag.
the theater.
And I think it was a recording. I don't know who had to go out there and do it. I would assume it would be done by, you know, security type of thing. They just go over, play it, and
Can we record it? There's a lady in town who plays tabs.
Oh, no, then the actual,
There's
the,
plenty of recordings
yeah,
out there.
the file itself to play is not the issue. I think it's
Yeah.
more the, okay, so my recommendation at this point would be to table this item while we look at the operational feasibility. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but let's see operationally how feasible it is for us to be able to do this. Is that,
If anybody has ideas or information, feel free to contact me.
okay? Anyone who remembers how it was done in the past, please let, someone's out there that knows this, so.
I would talk to Bill
I move to table it until further notice.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, the hunt guidelines is the fourth action item listed here. There's an email that went out. Does everyone have that?
Yes.
Oh, I put it right here. Thank you. Okay, so as Mr. Peterson mentioned earlier, there will be no hunting north of Fort Clark Road. I'm sorry, north of Scales Road this year, which will allow members access at all times to trails. Totally understand that that's not everyone's favorite set of trails, but the idea is to come to a compromise where we can maximize the amount of hunting, but also allow for people to be on trails at any point during the year. What is here in the guidelines, what was written was to establish an area on Fort Clark, east of Fort Clark Road and north of Scales Road, with a map highlighting the boundaries of that area, to put that in as a board resolution moving forward. Are there any thoughts on that?
Yeah. North of Scales Road, you're talking about no hunt, like over here by Unit 1, all that area back there?
Yes.
No more hunting, no bow hunting either?
No one.
Nothing. Thank you.
The horse club thing too.
Any comments from the membership? This is a very hot topic. I mean, come on. This is something we hear about all the time. Like maybe a cheer.
Oh, horse club's happy.
Number 5, the bow hunting
Yeah, and then the second piece, and I don't know if we want to make this an additional resolution or, make them separate, but the second piece that was suggested was there will be no bow hunting adjacent to paved roads at any time. I wrote it, my criticism to this is that adjacent is kind of a loose term, but that's, there are several other minds here that can help with that wording if possible.
Why couldn't you just put that part in the rules that the hunters get from, so when they sign up, that there is no bow hunting?
No, because we set certain blinds for those. So if you're gonna put it anywhere instead of adjacent, you need to say how many feet or how many yards.
Yeah, and to your point, I think that this is something that we as board members have heard so many times from so many residents that I think that by putting it into a board resolution, if this were to ever change, it would have to be brought in a meeting like this in front of the membership. And so it's something that can't just be changed without there being some sort of process. And I think that that's important, as our jobs as directors are to kind of take and look at a vision further out. And what we're hearing right now is that the membership wants access to trails, and they really don't want to see people hunting, as they're driving down the road in out of their bow stands. And so in order to, it's not set in stone by any means. I mean, 3 action items ago, we removed the board resolution, but it was done in front of the membership. And I think that if these 2 items have been such hot topics among the membership, that if they are going to be changed, they do need to be brought up in a formal setting where the membership can voice their opinion.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I don't get out much. I kind of hang around my house. Tell me, where is a bow stand?
There's a gentleman that likes you on his way home from wherever he's coming from.
Right next to Fort Clark Road.
On Fort Clark Road, next to the water spout. I mean, he pulls his truck right there and walks off into the bush. And
It's right
What,
by
is
the-
that a designated bow hunting
that was a
location?
bow stand that was set up.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Where are the designated ones?
They're a little bit closer in than what the regular gun stations are. So they are gonna be closer to your roads than any of the others.
Is there one right there behind the Oaks on the left of Fort Clark Road once you pass Scales?
Yes,
I used to see one. Okay, so is that gonna stay or go?
they would stay as of now.
Yeah, this would
It's
not
right
do
between-
anything to, this would not change any of that. I mean, I know where that one is, and that's probably
It's right behind the
300
Oaks.
yards from the.
That may be the way to do it. Instead of adjacent. It should be, like Mr. Peterson says, a footage designation or yards.
Well, and the other thing is that, as Mr. Peterson stated before, there will be no hunting north of Scales Road. So there is no rush to put this in. If we want to work on the language a little more to say a designated distance, and maybe we can get some input from the people who actually run the hunt as to what an appropriate distance would be, and we can take this up at the next meeting. We already have an understanding that there will be no hunting north of Scales Road, and I feel comfortable that it's already been announced here, and we can announce that to the membership. This would just place it in hard plaster, not cement.
Just to reevaluate the location of the bow hunting
Sure.
sites.
Okay, well, I will take it on and copy all of you to reach out to the Ford personnel that's running the hunt for some advice on the second piece of this.
Yes, specifically, I'd like to know, I know the one on Fort Clark Road, the one you just mentioned, but anyone near residential areas, if they can provide those for us.
Do the bow hunters have to stay in the bow lines?
Supposed to, yes.
Supposed to.
I got a question. If you put a bow hunting stand next to the adjacent road, it's also creating a safety for the public as they're driving their vehicles. A lot of times when you shoot an animal, there's a herd them, they're gonna run across the road. Is it possible to put them further away from the roads?
Yes, I think that's the language that we're trying to shore up. Instead of just saying there will be no bow hunting adjacent to paved roads, to set an established distance you know, from people who are actually running the show on a normal basis, what would be an appropriate
I mean, it
distance?
should be in a secluded location, not in a public setting. I mean, you don't want kids to see it, and you don't want the animals to jump out on the road with an arrow stuck in them. I mean, that just gives a bad vision for people, impression.
Yes, ma'am.
The one on Fort Clark Road is too highly visible
Yes.
for walkers, and I have, in years past, hunted. I've done it many different ways, in different states. There is such a thing called buck fever, and I don't care if they're shooting bow and arrow, and if they get excited, all that one on Fort Clark, they have to turn a little bit, and they're right toward residences. I just think it's extremely unsafe.
Extremely dangerous to the public.
Terribly. And too many people walking, because I've met them and they say, well, what is that? And I goes, a problem. It's a deer blind and it needs to be not visible by the public, like he's saying.
Understood.
It's very distracting, scary.
Any other input by the membership?
It might slow speeders down.
We have a motion to table this item upon further review of the language.
You're talking about the bow hunting part?
The whole thing. We already have, you know, verbally that there will be no hunting north of
Okay,
Scales Road.
yeah, okay,
We're gonna get a map of where they're located and then make a decision as to where
Sure.
they'll be.
We can do
okay.
that.
Second,
We need a motion to begin with.
Oh, I think you said there was a motion.
Oh, no, I said, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we table the hunt guidelines until we have a bit more information.
second.
All in favor? All right, Good Sam membership. Mr. Peterson, you want to take this one?
Good Sam Club is one of the preferred marketing for the RV park. They've given us many proposals. The one I presented is the minimum.
Hang on.
What's that?
I don't know, are you asking something, Robert?
I couldn't hear Mr. Peterson.
Oh,
Excuse me. It's the minimum range, and that does not include print, but it's all, puts us in their program for online access for Good Sam. All their marketing expertise on that. But that does not include the print program. That is a basic introductory program which just puts us online on all their information and marketing. The price for that is $28.95. Now, to put it into the print aspect, let's see. I printed up the same one. It's about $1,000 more is to put us into the print area, which is about $3,900, and that gets us into their catalogs and their mailing and their items that they put into all the areas, Bass Pro Shops, things like that.
camping stores.
Camping stores.
Yeah.
And that's a print ad. The $28.95 is to put us in all their information online as far as get us in their system. So there are two different options, and that's the lowest two they could give us.
Do they indicate what the percentages of people who are using online versus their catalogs?
Don't have that information. I mean, I'm not an RVer, so those of you that do the RVers, maybe you know a little bit more how you use them. Some of the things that we've used in the past were basically trades and just almost giving away our campsites. This is a little bit higher rate, which we will adjust accordingly, but it will give us a little bit more marketing tools to go out and get RVers to this area. there are a lot of RVers that do not do online stuff. I mean, there's still, good old print materials still work. So, but